everyone. So like Lakeisha said, my name's Ann Ding, and I just wanted to share a little, I'm a fourth-year medical student. I just wanted to share a little bit with you guys today about my journey in going to medical school, and lessons I've learned, and what I hope to take going forward. So I guess I just want to start out by telling you a story. About 6 years ago, I was sitting on a small bed in a rural town of Kenya called Maralal. I had gone to Kenya for a 2-month-long missions trip in college. So that morning I woke up, I had had some pretty bad dreams the night before, and I had like fevers and chills and just really bad nausea. So my host mom took me to the local clinic in that small town where there's a doctor. He pricked my finger, and he spun my blood down in a machine, and he told me that I had malaria. And I realized with horror that I must have missed a dose of my anti-malarial prophylaxis. Well, actually, malaria is pretty common in Kenya, so the doctor gave me medication. I was like, okay, this is going to be fine. I'll recover well. Took the medication. Later that night, I started to have like a strange reaction in my hands. So my hands started to like stick out at strange angles from each other, and I couldn't move them. They're like getting paralyzed. I remember drinking a liter of water out of desperation, just hoping to make something better, and just throwing it all up immediately. When my toes also started to become numb and like paralyzed as well, we realized this was an emergency, so we rushed to the local clinic's doctor in the middle of the night. And I remember thinking that night that I was going to die in Kenya. But that local doctor, he put in an IV and stabilized my reaction, and I woke up that next morning grateful to be alive. When I look back on it, I probably had an allergic reaction to that medication, but I think what stuck with me more than the pathophysiology of disease and management strategies, that kind of thing, is that doctor cared for me beyond socioeconomic status, beyond these cultural boundaries that we had. And I was amazed at the power of medicine to be able to impact someone from a completely different part of the world. And I wanted in on that too, so I applied to medical school. Now, your story might not have been like as dramatic as mine, or it may have been more dramatic, but we all have a story to tell. I don't know if you guys remember, like the first few weeks leading up to starting school, those feelings of anticipation that you had. I remember feeling really nervous and really excited. I was moving from Knoxville, Tennessee to San Antonio, Texas, and so I was really nervous about making new friends and getting used to Texan culture and the environment here. And I'll never forget for our white coat ceremony for medical school, it was in this building, and then afterwards we took pictures outside in front of the AAB building. And I don't know if y'all have ever noticed there's a lot of cacti out there. And you probably don't think about it when you walk by it, but my family was really excited. Being an Asian American family from Knoxville, Tennessee, we don't see a lot of cacti, so I had my white coat on. My family was like, yeah, take a picture by that one. So I'm like, okay. So, that was a transition for us for sure, and I will always treasure those memories that we had. But in all seriousness, with the transitions of going to medical school, I remember thinking a lot about what role medicine would play in my life. So medical school is a 4-year program. The first 2 years are preclinical, where you're kind of in the library and class. The third year is clinical rotations, where you're going through different rotations and different specialties. And then the fourth year is your final year of solidifying that clinical knowledge. After that, you have residency training, which lasts between 3 years to even 10 plus years if you want to go that route, which I'm not doing. But so medicine's a really long road. I remember thinking that despite the amount of time I would put into medicine, I really didn't want to let medicine define who I was. I wanted it to play a really big role in my life, but I wanted to be the one to define the role of medicine in my life. So that thought stuck with me throughout school. Fast forward to third year of medical school, I finally got to meet some of you guys on my clinical rotations. I learned from amazing nurses, ways to draw blood and spike the IV bag, which I did a really bad job the first time on. I learned from PT students about the different exercises you guys do to strengthen patients. I learned from pharmacy about optimal drug dosing and drug interactions that we have for the very drugs that others of you have helped to develop. And then I had a patient in my clinic who had a lot of dental problems, and we doctors really don't know a lot about teeth, so it's very helpful to have him say that he went to the dental student clinic and got his problems resolved at the next visit. So we were super thankful for that. So when I look out at you guys, I just really think that you're all very amazing, studying and working so hard to take care of patients in your own unique roles. I'm currently doing research on interprofessionalism in a model in University Hospital called collaborative care. And in collaborative care, we rotate together, like all of our professions, at the patient bedside. We work face-to-face in efforts to make patient care more transparent, more united, and more patient-centered. And I really think that interprofessionalism is the way of the future. Yeah. I think that these events are so important because you can finally see each other's faces and hear each other's stories. If we're going to be the people together taking care of the patient one day, it's pretty important that we know each other. So I guess what I wanted to leave you with is that each of you, a valuable member of the healthcare team, has a story to tell. The health professions honestly can be a very hard and long road for each of us, as we've talked about a lot. Sometimes it feels like our profession is just telling us to perform. In our academic grades, our evaluations by our upper levels, our board exams. But and that pursuit of excellence, I think, is a really good thing. But not if you forget the people who shaped you into who you are, the reasons why you came to school in the first place. So I want to encourage you to be countercultural. Don't let your profession define who you are, but define its role for you in your own life. The road will be hard and long, but you came here for a reason. So don't forget the things that make you into who you are. It could be music, a sport you played in college, your family, your friends, your faith, your passion for global health. As someone who thought that she was going to die in Kenya, I can tell you that that compassion and care of that doctor really shaped who I am today. I'm committed to serving underserved populations, committed to practicing global health and underserved populations in cross-cultural medicine because of what he did for me. So yeah, I just want to encourage you guys to not forget those things and cling to those kinds of things that brought you here in the first place. So thank you.